I call him serial man to my friends. Quick story time, quick get ready with me. I am about to go to the gym, but you guys get to hear about the story time of a man that literally told me multiple times he was going to when I was going on dates with him. But ladies, you have to understand the lore before this to understand the present day lore, right? So come August, my best friend from college, I have two best friends from college, she has her birthday coming up. So she's like, I'm gonna come into town, we're gonna go out. Long story short, we go out, I meet these two guys. One's blonde, one's brunette. For the sake of the story, the blonde guy is going to be called Blondie and the brunette is Serial. We're just going to call him Serial. So Blondie actually ends up hitting on me. This is like late August, and Blondie is the one who's like really interested in me. He like really just maintains my whole night. Like he like pulls up to multiple bars we're at, whatever, and he's like pursuing me. I just unfortunately was not like feeling him. But he had this guy, the brunette, next to him that was so mysterious. Like, he was so quiet, and he was really good looking. Like, I was like, I want your friend. Like, but I couldn't get his friend. So long story short, Blondie and I exchanged numbers. I don't really ever pursue him because I just really wasn't feeling him. And months go by, like months. You know, ladies with their stalking skills, I had found the friend and I was like, he's so cute, but I was like, I'm not gonna follow him because like he really was so quiet and like didn't seem that interested in me. So I was like, I'm gonna leave it for what it is. But I did really want to hit him up. I did. Months go by. I'm shamefully was on Hinge. Guys, it's deleted now, clearly, but I was on Hinge for a while, guilty as charged, and I had matched with him. So Serial had liked me on Hinge, I matched with him, and then we started a convo, and we like follow each other on Instagram, we do the whole 9 yards. So we talk on like DM for days. Like honestly, I was like, when is this guy gonna ask for my number? Well, he eventually does like days later, and he gets my number, and we start to plan a date. Date is planned, we're going to a place near my house, and he offers to pick me up. Ladies, this is where you say no. This is where you say no. Full responsibility here, I literally would not do that again, and if a man wants to go on a date with me, I'm just going to drive and meet him. But since I already met him and we had been talking, I felt like I wasn't weirded out by him picking me up. I don't know. Realistically, looking back, I had no reason to believe that he should pick me up. Like, even though I met him, like, I didn't really know him. So we planned a date, he picks me up, and he's such a gentleman. Like, actually such a gentleman. And by such a gentleman, I mean, like, he got out of his car, he opened up the door for me, got in my seat, it was warm, he had a heated seat on, like, such a love language of mine. I never told him I loved a heated seat, but I just thought that was so sweet. So I go to the Italian place with him, we have a good dinner, and honestly, like, he was, like, such a nice guy, like, really nothing wrong. I feel like he was a little bit more reserved in certain ways, or like he like very much is a person who like thinks before he talks, where I'm just very like go and talk all the time. So like we had great conversation, we were getting along, he was telling me about his family, I was telling him about mine, all good things. Midway through dinner, I don't even know what prompted this. I seriously cannot remember, but he was like, oh yeah, like maybe if we have such a good time, I'll have to your head off and keep it in my freezer. I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying to you when I tell you I was like, what? So now I'm like, hold the phone, what do you mean? I was like, what? Seriously, trying to be polite and just like laugh it off and like not act like that was like a little creepy and weird. I was like, that's weird. Like, what? I'm like, no, like, or you could just get along with me and I could be alive and we could hang out. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I'm scared. I'm a little scared. Nonetheless, I boiled that down to like a weird humor, right? So I'm like, okay, that's like a little bizarre, but like he also could be joking. And we were getting ice cream after in the same like plaza area. So I go and like when we're walking around the plaza, I'm like, hey, like that joke freaked me out a little bit. Like I tell him that it freaked me out. And he's like, who said I was joking? And this is like a common theme for him. He keeps saying like, who says I was joking? And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, I'm actually scared. But again, first date, I don't want to seem like I'm like uptight or like going to be like angry with him. So I'm just like, no, like it's just a little weird. Like it's a little weird. We get our ice cream. He drops me off at home. Still such a gentleman. Doesn't even kiss me. Doesn't like even do too much. Like it was a good date besides that one comment. When I was explaining this to my friends, though, I was like, you guys don't understand that it was like, it was a red flag, but the way he said it in like the conversation we were in, it wasn't like, oh my God, fight or flight. Like, what is he saying? Like, it sounded like a bad joke, like a bad humor joke. So he drops me off. I go home and we continue to text. I'm a little put off. I tell my mom about this. I'm like, this is super weird, whatever. Mind you, this is in like October-ish and Halloween is creeping up. So Halloween comes along and my friends and I are all going out. I'm actually going out with like all my coworkers and everything. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be out. Like, where are you gonna be? Mind you guys, I was also going to be out of town for Halloween. So it was like last minute that I ended up going out, and he was also going out at the same place that I was. So it wasn't like he was like trying to track me down and like go out to the place that I was at. This is actually the day before Halloween, but we all went out the day before Halloween. So we go out, I'm with my coworkers, we're like hanging out, whatever. And I see him pull up to the bar, and I see him and I'm like, also besides the point, but he literally came into the bar and like walked past me. I was like, okay, are we in middle school? Like, how are you not gonna say hello right off rip? But he like walks past me a few times and then ends up coming up to me and like saying hello. So we end up talking that entire night, like the entire night of the night before Halloween, whatever. We're sitting outside and we're like chatting with each other 24/7. He has a friend with him. His friend is super cool. I loved his friend. Like, he was so nice. And yeah, we just talked all night. But the problem is, once again, midway through the night, he starts making these like vile jokes to me. He continues to make the joke, oh, I'm gonna cut your and keep it in a freezer. I'm like, okay, like enough of the jokes, like it's not even funny. And then he also continues to say that he's gonna like turn my like arm into a lampshade. Yeah, like Ed Gein. So I tell him and I'm like, oh, like Ed Gein. And he's like, who is that? Like, excuse me, what do you mean, who is that? You literally should know who that is. If you're saying that joke, you should know who Ed Gein is. If you don't know who Ed Gein is and you're saying that joke, it means you thought of it all on your own. I'm like very drunk at this point, like not like, I'm not very drunk where I don't know what's going on, but very drunk where I'm like not understanding, like this is obviously like not a good situation. Like, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing? So the jokes don't stop. He literally continues to say the weird jokes, inspiring conversations, whatever. I think he thinks it's funny, and I'm keeping like, it's like not that funny. Like, why are you saying stuff like that? And he's very much like, who said I was joking? Who said I was joking? Then we fall into the problem of I've been sitting here with this guy for like an hour and a half, maybe, talking with him and his friends. My friends, obviously we're a whole big group, and they did stop by and they were like, hey, we're thinking of going downtown, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm sitting here, whatever. And I did have a friend like somewhere in the bar, so I was like not totally alone, but I was like, no, it's fine. They end up leaving. Also, I just don't really go downtown anymore, so I was very much like not gonna go anyways, but they end up leaving, and the Serial and his other friend end up being like, hey, we can take you home. My friend drove, Also, vibes were good with the other friend. He already knows where I live. Like, there's no going back. Again, looking back, sober me would have never done that, but I did. We get into the friend's car. He hasn't been drinking. He's like, oh yeah, like I have a few friends that live in your apartment complex. No worries, They go, end up driving me home. And on the ride home, I got about 15 minutes worth of their underground secret SoundCloud career. So I got to listen to them play their rap music. It wasn't even bad, but he did quote on the song that his girl looks like a Tim Burton character, and I definitely don't. So I definitely didn't match his type, if that makes sense. They dropped me off. Again, he's nice, doesn't try to kiss me, nothing, whatever. But after that, I was like, I don't think I need to see him again. He ends up trying to call me and like reach out to me, but I was just kind of like pushing it off. I was at a networking event when he did call me, and then I was like, hey, sorry, I was at a networking event, still being communicative, but just like not that interested anymore. He ends up calling me, and I straight out was like, hey, like I'm kind of uncomfortable by the jokes you made. Like, I was very nice and polite about it, but I was very like, I'm super uncomfortable with the jokes you made to me, like whatever. And he just like doubled down like constantly and kept repeating, who said I was joking? Who said I was joking? Who said I was joking? Then he throws out the like, oh, I know where you live, like whatever. Like, I was like, enough's enough. So long story short, we stopped talking after that. I did block him on Instagram. He tried to swipe up on my story. I was like, dude, I literally, like, I know I was being nice, but I was very clear that I was not trying to talk to him anymore because he made me super uncomfortable. I did block him, but I really don't think he, like, I think he just had like a different type of humor, but it did scare the living shit out of me. Moral of the story, drive yourself to dates. It's absolutely okay it's okay to tell a man that you're just doing it for safety. Go on a few dates with him. I've definitely learned my lesson. Like, no man is ever picking me up until I really know him. But yeah, good luck dating out there. It is brutal. It is brutal.
I think I finally have it in me to sit here and tell you guys about the most awful breakup I've ever gone through. In order to tell the full story, I think I need to tell you guys how I met this person and how our relationship all started. I met him before I even lived in New York. I was here visiting with my girlfriends. It was a Saturday morning. We're walking around Soho. We are on the corner by Jack's Wife Frida, and if you don't know what that is, it's a little restaurant just on a cross street. As we're going across the street, I lock eyes with a guy that I recognize, and I flip around really quick because I'm flustered, look at my friends, and then turn back around across. I realized that I recognized him from Hinge and from Instagram. I connected with him a while back and I just thought he was so cute. 6'5", British, huge muscles, just like hot, just hot. My heart like actually skips a beat as we cross and walk right in front of him. He's sitting on the corner table right outside. He actually gets up and stops us and was like, "Girls, would you like to come join us for a drink?" I go up to the table and say hi to him and I say, "I think I know you." He's like, "Oh my gosh, are you Maggie?" And I was like, "Yeah, are you blank?" In that moment, we both realize how we know each other. We are instantly like, this is so crazy. What are the odds? We start talking and laughing. Like, he's gorgeous. I will give him that. He's evil, and we'll get to the part later, but this man is gorgeous. I'm like, okay, well, this is love. This is my husband. I'm smitten. This is it. Like, that is the ultimate meet cute. So when we're saying goodbye, he's like, you know, I know you're here with your friends, but would you like to meet me for a drink before your dinner tonight? I'll text you details. And actually, before we even exchanged phone numbers, he asked to kiss me. And so we kissed, and we're kissing on the streets of Soho. I remember there was a photographer out of the corner of my eyes, just like a street photographer. He took our picture. It was just like such a little blissful moment. I leave. I'm walking to meet back up with my friends. I literally feel like I'm walking on a cloud. I felt like I was floating through the air. I meet up with my friends. I'm like, guys, that's my husband. And that was like fate. That was incredible. I've never felt like that before. If only I knew at that time what was coming, I wouldn't have felt the same way. I go back to the hotel. We get ready for dinner. I go meet him for a drink. Again, I'm in love. Before I leave for dinner and he drops me off at the hotel, he asked me to go to dinner the next night. The next day rolls around. I'm getting ready for the date. I remember I literally packed a dress in a bag because we were going uptown for the day. I got ready in the bathroom of a restaurant, put on my dress, like freshened up, the whole thing. I was so nervous because I was in love. Like this was my husband, so it was a big thing. I go on the date, everything with him, I'm like, he's perfect. Again, I don't live in New York at this time. I live in Dallas still. So on the date, he's talking about how he's gonna come see me in Dallas. And when he first says that, I'm like, okay, sure. I'll believe it when I see it. We say our goodbyes. We're texting, of course, but I'm like, am I ever gonna see this person again? Again, this is August 2024. I wouldn't be moving to New York until March of 2025. So I leave, I go back to Dallas. Few days go by. He booked a flight. Once he did that, I'm like, okay, he's serious. This is love. This is meant to be. Laughing at myself now. From there, things just accelerate. He comes to visit me in Texas, probably 3 or 4 times, and then I go see him in New York a bunch. I finally moved to New York. We went to dinner with my mom. He helped me build my furniture. The first month of me living there, he is coming over. He's bringing me flowers. I mean, it is like princess treatment. I have never been treated that well in my entire life. And then one night, we're supposed to go on another date. He walks in my apartment and he goes, "Maggie, we need to talk." When I tell you, it was quite the shock. He sits me down and he's like, with work and everything, like, I just don't want a relationship right now. He was not emotional, no tears, no remorse, nothing. So quick, so fast. He hugged me on his way out. I'll never forget when he hugged me, what he said to me. He said, "You're smart, you're amazing, you're gonna be just fine." And to me, it felt like nothing. It felt like he literally didn't care. It was the most like emotionally void version of him I'd ever seen. In that moment, I was like, I don't know that person. It was so scary the way he just literally was like so cold. So mind you, I just moved to New York City alone and by myself. A month in, I call my mom sobbing. I was a mess. She literally got on a flight and got to me within 6 hours, stayed with me the entire weekend. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. She's literally the best mother in the entire world. I'm so eternally grateful to her for helping me in that moment. It was just the biggest shock of all. It just felt like I was so close with a person that I actually didn't even know the real version of. And I was a month into this move by myself, getting adjusted to my new life, and then that just hit me like a train. It was just horrible. The biggest lesson that I took away from all of this: do not date a man that is still building his career, okay? This was the case with him. He like had something going. He was broke, which another lesson, I'll talk more about this in another video. I will never date a broke man ever again in my life, and neither should you. But anyways, he was still building this thing he was working on, and that was a big part of the breakup. I'm okay now. This is also a message if you're going through something traumatic and painful, it gets better. Love you guys. I love you extra if you're going through something hard. I'm sending you so many hugs and kisses and care, and just know it's gonna be okay. That is my story of the worst breakup I ever went through.
Okay, so this is a really important story time. Super crazy, but I'll make it quick. basically, when I was 18, I met a guy. I fell in love with him. We got engaged. We got married. I moved in with him at his parents' house with his sister and his two brothers. His sister absolutely hated my guts. He winds up getting a job over in Long Beach, Mississippi, and we move out to the Kill. But the apartment there was too expensive. We were young and naive, and we were on our own for the first time, so it didn't work out. We wound up moving in and roommating with his sister and her husband. Okay? Now, mind you, me and his sister already don't get along. She treated me like shit, talked to me like shit all the freaking time. He didn't really do much. He did sometimes whenever I'd finally had enough. But there was one particular day that I had gotten off of work. I worked all the way at Ruby Tuesday in Slidell, Louisiana, so it was about a 45-minute drive home. I get home. It's late at night. I'm in the kitchen. Me and my ex-husband are arguing. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see his sister walk out of her room holding up a used Fire and Ice condom wrapper. And keep that in mind because I'm going to come back to that. She was accusing her husband of cheating on her and bringing women over and sleeping with them in their bed. I don't pay any attention to it because their problem wasn't my problem. I was dealing with my ex-husband. So flash forward a few days, something really bad happened, and I wound up grabbing my shit, grabbing my son, and I left to go stay at my dad's house over here in D'Iberville. And I'm there for a few days. All of a sudden, I get a random knock at the door. It's my ex-husband. He's standing there holding this gigantic-ass fucking teddy bear and a box of chocolates. Mind you, this man never really did gifts like that. Like, for my birthday, he took me out to eat, but, he wasn't one to give hearts and flowers. So that was a red flag to me. I listened to his bullshit spiel, and I take him back, and we go back home. A few days later, we're riding in the car because we are on our way back to Mobile to visit his parents. And right across his phone screen comes a text message from his sister. And it says, "You were never supposed to be with her. You were always meant to be with me." Pause. In that moment, everything from the past year had started to come to light. Remember that Fire and Ice condom I was telling y'all about? Those were our condoms. We were using condoms. Even though we were married, we were using condoms. We weren't really trying to get pregnant, but it was that we were married, so if I wound up pregnant, not a big deal. But we weren't trying to get pregnant until later on. And I didn't think about it, but she was holding it up, accusing her husband of sleeping with someone else whole time. Those were our condoms, and my ex-husband was fucking his sister behind my back. Oh, and 8 years before he met me as well. So they'd literally been together since they were 13. And I didn't find out until a year into the relationship. And he was a student pastor as well. So I guess that can tell you why I don't go after you church boys no more. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do a part 2. But buckle up, because this one's a doozy. All right, picture it. Circa 2005. No, I'm just kidding. So quick trigger warning. There is going to be some other references to incestuous relationships. And there's also going to be references to child-on-child essay. So if you're not cool with that, I suggest you scroll. All right, so in order to understand the dynamics of my ex-husband and his sister's relationship, we are going to have to go all the way back to the beginning. Now, real fast, my ex-husband grew up with another man as his dad. He didn't know that he had a biological father or a sister at the time. It wasn't until he was 13 that he found that out because his dad was in prison and he had gotten out. So when dad gets out of prison, mom and dad get back together, and when dad moves in, here comes his 11-year-old daughter. Now, the story that he told me, which obviously was not true, was that they met each other, they liked each other, and they didn't know that they were siblings. Later, his sister and his mom was like, no, that's not what happened. Basically, he started touching on his sister, And multiple times she told him to stop and that she didn't like it, she didn't want it, but it continued. So in order to cope with that, she then formed a sexual emotional trauma bond with her brother. They stayed together from that point on, throughout middle school, throughout high school, up until about 2 months before I met him. Now, when I met him, he told me, because his phone was constantly blowing up, he told me that he had a crazy ex-girlfriend who wouldn't leave him alone, was still obsessed with him, was still in love with him, wouldn't let him go, yada, yada, yada. That motherfucker could have told me that he was the Pope's son, and I'd have been like, oh shit, no way, brother. I just believed it and moved on because he was dating me. I'm not worried. I have him. He likes me. And I just didn't fucking care. Where the issues with her began with me was the day that he asked me to marry him. He was hanging out at my house and he told me that he had to go pick his sister up from work and bring her home and then he would come right back. So I said, okay, go ahead and do that. He comes back. We're sitting in the living room watching TV, just chilling, and all of a sudden he gets a text message on his phone, and I don't remember the name he had it saved under, but he definitely did not have it saved under her legal name. I'm assuming because he didn't want me to find out that it was her that was the crazy ex-girlfriend. Y'all, while we were sitting there watching TV, she sent him the lyrics to White Flag. I will go down with this ship, and I will put my hands up and surrender. Yeah, that one. And I was just like, this bitch crazy. So again, flash forward, we get married, and the day of our wedding, we got a hotel room because, you know, we're poor. I'm 18, he's 19, 20 years old. We have no money. I've only been working for a little while. He'd only been working for a little while. So we didn't have a lot of money to go do no big thing. So we just got a hotel room. We pull up to his house, and on the side of his house, he has these really steep wooden steps, and she's standing at the top of them. He immediately looks at me and was like, don't get out of the car. Stay right here. And I'm just like, okay, no problem. So I just sit there. All of a sudden, I see him run up those stairs, and as soon as he gets to the top, she just whack right across the fucking face. And then here's me just getting out that motherfucking car, going up them damn steps like this. Hold the fuck on, bitch. What the hell's going on? I get up there, and they are like locked eyes, fuming at each other. He looks like he's ready to choke her the fuck out. She looks like she's ready to hang him over the side of the fucking railing. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? So I grab his arm, and I'm like, come on, babe, let's go. Let's just get your bag, get in the car. Let's just go to the hotel. This bitch then looks dead in my face and then looks at her brother and starts mocking me. Please, baby, take me to the hotel so you can... I'm so horny. I ain't never wanted to cut a bitch so bad in my life until that moment. We grabbed our shit and we went to that hotel room and didn't talk to her. He turned his phone off. I turned my phone off. Couldn't nobody get in touch with us for the next 24 hours. Another instance was right after that. I had moved in with him and his family, and it was my first night there as a married woman. I was so excited. We were having a movie night, and we were just sitting in the living room having a good time. All of a sudden, his sister fucking rips her door open, and she is storming down the hallway holding a fucking stuffed animal, and she just throws it at him like basketball, throws it at his fucking... Then she comes out again holding a necklace, and she very dramatically drops it in his lap and storms back to her room and slams the door. She then comes back out storming down the hallway holding a hoodie, and she throws that at him. And after that, I'm just like, the fuck's going on, babe? This motherfucker, bold-faced, looked me in my eyes, in my eyeballs, and was like, under the Lord now, under the Lord. He said, she's just really upset because she feels like you're taking her brother away from her. And you want to know something? You want to know what? I fucking believed him, y'all. I fucking believed him. Now, flashing forward to when everything started to come out, okay? I called his grandmother and me and her still talk to this day. I love that woman so much. She is literally a saint. Literally a saint. And so is his mother. But I called his grandmother. And I told her what happened. And she goes, oh, honey. Well, you're going to have to sit down for this one. She then begins to explain to me that his aunt and his uncle on his daddy's side are also fucking. Yeah. And have been for years. Y'all, the scream, I scrumped. The giggle, I guggled. When I tell you, I ain't never tucked my tail so damn fast. I tucked my tail and you couldn't catch the dust off my feet. I got out that bitch so quick.
Get ready with me, guys, while we talk about why my ex really broke up with me, because he said one thing to me, but then he's been saying a bunch of other stuff to other people. He told me that it was nothing I did and like I did nothing wrong and that I was a great girlfriend, and he just wishes that he could put more effort into the relationship. He just couldn't for our relationship because like he was just so busy focusing on himself, you know, is what he said to me. And he didn't have enough mental capital for the relationship, is what he said. Right. So I felt like that was an excuse because, like, that's an excuse that literally everyone uses. Like, I need to work on myself. So he didn't actually need to work on himself. It was that apparently the whole time I was weird and he didn't like my personality. He didn't really like me, basically, is what it was. So he has called me weird since we broke up to other people. He like said I was a weird person and like I was weird like as a person, but like mind you, we dated for over a year. So like he and I always acted like myself. It's not like I was like putting on a front and like started acting crazy or anything like a month in or something. Like I acted like myself the whole time we dated. Like I just always like acted like myself. And yeah, so but apparently he just now found out that he just doesn't like me. And it's really funny that he just now found out that he doesn't like me, because both times he had the epiphany that we need to break up, I had like stopped having sex with him for like a month. It wasn't even intentional. I just like didn't, like we just didn't, like it just didn't line up, you know. Like it was in the end of the school time, like in the semester, like we're both kind of busy, so I was like, you know, like we're not really hanging out much, it's fine. But yeah, so I think he just like was lustful over me, and like that was it to the relationship. I'm pretty sure that's all that was, because he obviously didn't like me as a person, but something had to make him stay for a year. But yeah, since I'm so weird, let's talk about some weird things he did. So at one point he made a ranking list of like all the types of girls he likes, and he put Asians at the top, and he made it very evident and like clear to me that he liked Asians the most and that Asians were his type. But he also liked white girls, but Asians were his type, and he really liked Asians, and he just really never let me forget that. Oh God. And he just loves Asians, yeah, which is chill. I mean, at some point it just feels fetishy, but okay. And there were a few times, so he made a like chart like ranking hairstyles, and he was like putting all the hairstyles that I do like not at the top, and like all the hair colors that were like mine like not at the top, and he kept telling me to dye my hair black. And I was like, do you want me to be someone else? Because I remember at the beginning, this was like at the beginning of the relationship, and I was like, I don't like that. And I literally cried, and I was like, I don't like that. Like, do you want, like, if you want someone else, like, you can go get someone else that looks like that, like, if that's what you want. But like, I'm me, so like, I can't really like change like the way I am, like, and I'm not gonna dye my hair black, like, I don't want to. And I was sad about it. And then he was like, no, like, I was just making it for fun, like, da 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 da. And I was like, okay. He also had this friend that he told me whenever we first started talking that he used to like her, and she would sleep in his bed even though she had a boyfriend, and that he liked her and he thought like she liked him, but it never went anywhere because like she has a man, and like they stopped doing that, like she stopped sleeping in his bed like at a certain point because they realized that it was like bad. And I should have just like dipped after that, because like if you can do that, like maybe you're not the person that like I should be getting a relationship with. But whatever, I ignored the signs. Why the fuck would I do that? I don't know. Also, if they tell you how they break up with their ex and it's like some evil shit, don't date them, because he was always shitting on his ex, like always shitting on her. And I'm finding out that apparently she was like actually a really sweet person, and he was just a liar. Like, I mean, there were definitely things in the relationship that like he was telling me that like were true, but like he was making her like out to sound like an evil person, but apparently she was like really, really sweet, and I was really sweet too. And now he's shit talking me. So yeah, I really do believe that. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I literally did nothing to bro. But after I found out this information, I did end up calling him and I did cuss him out. I don't know if he heard me actually fully cussing him out, or like if he put the phone down at some point. He would probably do that. But yeah, I basically just told him to like get my name out of his mouth and stop being a pussy. And he saw my Tik Toks about me posting like another dude and was like saying stuff about that apparently. But I'm like, bitch, it's my TikTok. I can post whatever the fuck I want on my TikTok. Like, it's my TikTok. I'm sad. This is what's going on in my life, so I'm gonna talk about it. And also, like, I was posted up with a new dude, yeah, but like, weren't you in another state, like, trying to get some from like a family friend? Yeah. And didn't you literally break up with me because you wanted to see other people? Yeah. Right. But you couldn't tell me that though. You said that you were working on yourself. I don't know. Another person doesn't really like come into the equation of like working on yourself, but whatever you want. I really think he needs to like really think about what he actually wants in life, instead of like dating people and then randomly deciding after a year that like it's just not for him. Because like my personality is something that you find out like immediately. Like, I act like myself around everyone. I don't like switch up how I act, like, unless I'm uncomfortable. So yeah. Oh my god, and he always wanted me to be like buddy with the girl that like he was talking about how he liked her at some point. And like, why would I be buddy with someone that you're literally telling me you liked and I know is your type to a T, because you won't shut the fuck up about liking Asian girls? So like, how do you think I'm gonna be like comfortable? And it makes it a lot easier to move on now that I know that he's like just an asshole. I just had him up on like a pedestal and I really thought he was like a really great guy, but he just wasn't. Like what he wanted me to see and like how he actually was, or like two different people. Like, he acted so different than the way like I don't know, like the whole way this whole breakup has went down, like it was actually insane. Like, actually insane. Like, I did not expect anything like this, like, from him. Like, I don't know. Like, he just, like, acted like he was such a better person than this. And then he's, like... And I remember the first time we broke up, he said that he wouldn't talk shit about me and, like, he wouldn't talk bad about me. And I wasn't gonna talk bad about him, because I haven't been. Like, I just been telling people what he told me when we broke up. I said, yeah, he said that he needed to work on himself. Because that's what he told me. And I was just confused. Like, and, like, the excuse he was giving me was so confusing. So I was just confused. And I was just telling people that I was confused. And I didn't really understand why we broke up. And that it was, like, out of nowhere. Because it really was. And that, like, we seemed fine. But then we just weren't. And he was saying he felt like this for a while. So I was like, okay, like, how long is a while? Because you've been acting completely normal. Like, what do you mean? Just remember, ladies, there's always bigger, better fishes in the sea. Bigger, better fishes in the sea. Bigger, better fishes in the sea. Go get them.
So I went on a date today with this guy. I've known him for almost 7 years. So I don't really like going to the movies, but I know that he really likes movies, and I was like, hey, let's go to the movies at like 12:30, okay? And he said, yeah, cool, that's fine. I bought them, which I guess take initiative, right? So we go to the movies. It's great. We hold hands walking in. We get inside. I buy the popcorn and the drinks. Another red flag. We get there, all the commercials are happening, and he's just like, seriously, another commercial? Like, when is this movie gonna come on? And I'm like, have you never been to the movies before? Like, what? The movie gets on, he's talking, he's just like eating all the popcorn that I paid for the whole time. It was a good movie, great movie. Movie finishes, we're ready to go. I was like, all right, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, I I don't know, maybe we could go sit like at a park or something. And I was like, okay, well, I'm hungry, so let's go get some food first. So we went to Willie's, and he didn't order anything. So I go up there and I'm like, I want some chicken bites. And he's like, do you want a drink? And I said, give me a beer. So I ordered a beer, and I go and we sit down at like a little tiny 2-seater. And the waitress, like, we didn't get a waitress for a while. We were just sitting there. And then finally the waitress comes over, and she just keeps looking at me like, hey, like, is everything okay? Like, I know you only have one plate. Do you want extra plates? Are you sharing? And I said, no, it's fine. Like, he's not eating anything. And I'm just, like, annoyed at this point. He's, like, moving around in the chair. He puts his head down on the table. I'm like, are you going to talk to me? Or, like, am I on a date with myself right now? I don't really understand the thing that's going on right now. And he's like, well, are we going to go sit at the park after this? Or, like, what? And I'm like, I mean, fucking eat a chicken nugget and maybe we will, you know? And so holds a french fry in his hand for like ever, just like just looking at me like, do it really, are you gonna treat me like a child? I have to eat this french fry before we go do something. And I'm like, yes, please do. So we get out, we leave. I tipped, my bill was $15 because I paid again. So $15. I tipped 20 because that poor girl had to deal with this situation. We get in the car and he goes, yeah, I don't want to go to the park anymore. I just want to go home. And I said, cool. Me too. So, I'm home now. And my date just, I guess he's coming home with me too.
So I am going to start this off by saying I was going to be done talking about this until this girl called the cops on me while I'm at work. Let's get into this. We need to backtrack a little bit though. This started 2 years ago on my birthday. Okay? Now, set the scene. Me and this friend and my boyfriend at the time, we were all at my family's bar, okay? We're all having fun, we're all drinking, it's my 21st, like, you get it. Now, she's getting drunker and drunker by the minute. At this point, she's now flirting with my man. She is, can you come to the jukebox with me? Can you hold my purse? Can you hold my vape? Can you do this? Can you do that? Mind you, I'm right there. I could have done all of this with her. But at this point, now my family is starting to realize her doing this, and they're not fucking with it either. They kick her out of the bar. She gets kicked out of the bar on my birthday. We stop being friends, whatever. Somehow or another, we end up becoming friends again. I'm not really sure how that all worked out, but it was fine. It was fine until about 4 months ago when I got myself another man. Now, at this point in time, me and this friend had just left the bar. We're wasted, and my boyfriend is sober capping us. So we're actually at the parking garage, and I watched this girl touch my man's shoulder about 6 times before I said something, because she's like, and I'm like, no. So I hop out the car, she hops out the car, I'm yelling at her, she's crying. She says she touched all her friends like that. That's the end of that. I said, I still love you, just don't do that. She said she will not. She said she won't. Now we're fast forwarding to my birthday this year. Always my birthday. We get an Airbnb, we're having fun, we're in the cities, we're gonna go to the gay 90s. Like, it was supposed to be really fun. Like, how could that go wrong? We're at the club, we're having fun, we're doing everything, and I see this girl, drunk, once again, touching my man. Now at this point, I'm livid because I'm wasted. I was mad. So I chased this girl into the bathroom, or however we managed to get into the bathroom. I am pounding on walls, I'm pounding on doors, I'm screaming in this girl's face because who do you think you are? She's mad. We must have been going at this for about like 25 minutes before I finally left her at the club. I left her there. I took my happy little self back to my Airbnb and I had myself a grand time. Okay, she's doing this, that, and the third. We're arguing. I really didn't think much of her the rest of the night. That was just kind of that. Now we're going to fast forward to last night. Last night, I see that she logs herself into my Snapchat. I was like, are we serious? Are we serious right now? I log her out. I left it at that. I didn't say nothing to her. Then after that, I start getting notifications that a bunch of these random TikTok accounts are looking at my account, and some of them are her friends, and Some of them are fake accounts that she's making. Why? So I had to block all of the fake accounts. I had to block all of her family, all of her friends. I blocked everybody. Then, a few hours later, I get some sketch call. It calls me, hangs up. They call me, then they hang up. So I was like, I mean, can you call this man? My boyfriend calls whoever the hell is calling me. And this is where he wants to try to say that I gave him my number at the gay 90s. I'm flirting with him. I don't even remember exactly what he said, but along the lines of I was trying to get with this man. And you can already guess who put this man up to this, bro. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm getting so angry that I have to keep stopping this video. But she's doing the most at this point. She's trying to ruin my relationship. She's calling the cops on me. She's this, that, and the third. Girl doesn't have a life or a job, if that makes sense. Fast forward to present day, 5 hours ago. I am at work, and I get a call from my favorite cop, and he proceeds to tell me that I never gave her any of her stuff back. When, mind you, she had went to my mom's and picked up her stuff there because my mom didn't want her coming to my apartment. So my mom was like, have her come here. And my mom has cameras. So there's camera footage of this girl taking her stuff. Now, this, that, and the third, she's missing headphones and her piece and I don't even know, something else. Homegirl's blaming it on me like I'm the one who lost it. It's not my stuff. I was like, pause. Now I'm still talking to the cop at this point. He's basically telling me that this is not my problem. If I have proof of me giving her stuff back, there's nothing they can do, and that's that. But that's not enough for her, though. She called the chief of police, okay? The chief of police also tells her, hey, listen, you gotta go to Minneapolis and file a report. We can't do nothing for you here. She gets mad, says, aren't you supposed to help people, and hangs up on the cop, okay? Then the chief of police calls my mom because and he tells her the situation. He tells her the whole thing. Okay, now this cop is explaining to her, like, hey, like, this is not somebody your daughter should be around anyway. Like, what are we, like, like, that's embarrassing for you, girl, on your part. Really, it is. So, since this girl did want to do the most and try to embarrass me for something I didn't even do, like, all I did was leave you at the club, and that's why I'm such a terrible person, okay. Like, okay, don't touch my man, and maybe you wouldn't have got left somewhere in the first place. It's all of these repercussions are coming back to you, girl. Like, you're the main source of the problem here, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, moral of the story is be careful who and what. Emphasis on the what you bring around your man.
Story time of how I dated a well-known content creator when I first moved to LA. Let's get into it. So I didn't really know anyone when I first moved here, and I downloaded the Hinge app. Yes, the trenches. I matched with this guy. Super cute, whatever, super nice. We exchanged numbers. Mind you, we were supposed to exchange social medias, but he was like, I'm not comfortable giving that out. Okay. So we're talking, everything's flowing, it's going good. And then at the very end of the phone call, you know what he fucking says? I'm just so glad you're not a fan. And I was like, what? Fan? And he's like, yeah, I'm just so glad you don't know me. I'm finally ready to give you my social media. You ready? And I said, yes. So I react like, oh, nice. You do social media. Cool. And he's like, yeah, I'm really well known in Los Angeles. I was like, cool. I'm from Miami, okay? I have dated the NFLs, the MLBs, an F1 driver, a celebrity. Like, I've literally dated famous people before. None of the shit matters to me. And I could tell he was really taken aback. So he quickly was like, yeah, girls just like use me all the time because a lot of them are fans and they try to get close to me. I was like, okay. Like, I've heard this story before, motherfucker. Then comes the date. I just wanted a simple dinner, okay? Simple, nice first date. So he comes over from his place and I was like, yeah, I just moved into my apartment, so like everything's everywhere, so I'm not comfortable with you like coming in. I'm also not comfortable with a guy like just coming over after the first date. No. He was like, yeah, sure, I respect that. So then he tells me, I'm getting drinks, do you want anything? I was like, I thought we were just going to dinner. Yeah, but I'm at the store right now, like, do you want anything? I was like, no. And he's like, okay, well, I'm getting Cutwaters. What? He was like, you sure you don't want to drink? No! I'm hungry. Mind you, goes to the grocery store, goes to the gas station. There are bathrooms inside these places, right? Wait for it. After he stops by the gas station, he calls me again. He's like, I really need to use the restroom. I need to go inside. I need to go inside your apartment. I was like, I told you I'm not comfortable having anyone in yet. I just moved. I totally understand. The gas station bathrooms are nasty. Like, I don't like doing that. I was like, you literally were at the grocery store too. Yeah, but public restrooms, like, I don't do that. And I was like, well, we're about to go to the restaurant. But I want a pregame, Fine, come inside and then go the fuck back outside. We're pre-gaming in your car. So after the princess uses the fucking bathroom, he picks the place. He picks Calaveras. And if you know, you know. You can't hear shit in there on a Friday night. So we're getting to know each other in his car while he's downing these cutwaters, and he will not shut up. I don't even have to ask him questions about himself because he's already telling me everything about himself. I don't get a single word in. I am getting to know him against my own will at this point. He will not shut the fuck up about himself. He's talking about all his accomplishments. Oh, I was overweight one time. Oh, I look like this very famous person. That's how I got famous. Oh, do you want to see girls taking selfies with me? Oh, people take selfies with me all the time. I get recognized all the time now. I don't care. Let's go to dinner. Let's go to fuck. I don't know why the fuck I got in that Uber to go to dinner. Because I literally was like, are you driving? He's like, no, I'm drinking tonight. Okay, bud. Good luck getting home because you're not fucking sleeping over at my place. You can't hear shit in there. And mind you, he's still showing me Tik Toks of himself, Instagram reels of himself. Oh, this one went viral. Oh, this one's so funny. And he's just laughing at his own content. And then he's like, oh, I have a movie premiere on Tuesday. Like, come with me, come with me. And I'm like, I work. Yeah, but like, you can leave early, right? And I literally was just being polite and I was like, we'll see, we'll see. And then he's just in a bad mood because he's like, my agent should have known I'm coming here. Like, they know me here. They know me. And he's like, I would have gotten us free drinks, free food. Okay. I was just like, no one fucking batted an eye when we walked in. Who are you? I have one drink that I'm babysitting just to be polite. He's over here downing like 5-6 shots in a row, has 3 drinks on top of that. Like, he is getting fucking slammed. I have not gotten a word in all night long. And then he grabs both of my hands across the table, looks into my eyes, and he's like, I want you to meet my mom. What? What? I am sitting here like, he's like, when's Mother's Day? And I was like, this weekend? And he's like, great, come to Mexico with me. Mexico? Let's go now. I was like, you don't even know who I am. Like, I could fucking rob you. I could fucking shoot you at the end of the night. I'm a stranger. And he's like, I can just tell you're a nice girl. Please, I have a beach house. Let's go. Let's spend time with my mom. I'm not gonna meet your mom on the second link. I don't want to meet you any further. So he grabs a check, but he doesn't grab the check shutting his mouth, right? No, he grabs a check saying, thank God for my TikTok lives. I make so much money off of those. Congrats. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home now. And he's like, no, what's the move? Where are we going after? Where are we going? I'm going home. You can go fuck off. He's like trying to extend the date for as long as possible. He's like, come on, get up and dance with me. Let's go for drinks. Let's sit at the bar. Let's do this. And I literally was just like, oh, cramps. I'm literally just hunched over in the middle of Calaveras being like, oh, just started my period. Like, I gotta leave. I gotta go now. I gotta go home right now. I gotta lay down. And he was like, I'll lay down with you. No, fuck off. I am visibly uncomfortable at this point. So we get back to my place and I'm literally like hunched over doing the Oscar performance of my fucking life. Now I'm all fours pretending to throw up. Like, I'm literally like dry heaving. He's over here like, so you're gonna meet my mom? Are you gonna go to the movie premiere with me? I'm like, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. Leave me the fuck alone. Good night. You will not believe what this man said. He is standing there watching me and he says, so you're not gonna invite me in? But I was drinking all night. That's your problem. Okay, go with your little TikTok live money and go fuck off. Find an Uber. find a way to drive. I don't give a shit. Good night. Sleep in your car. And I slammed the door, and that was the end. But you know what? He did not block me. He removed me as a follower with his sassy ass.
So y'all, this is a story time about the fact that I miss one of my closest friends, but we'll never be able to be friends again. And here's why. So me and my closest friend, like, we've been friends, like, we've been locked in since we first met. Like, that's my bitch. Well, that was my bitch. Like, we did everything together. Like, you would not see me without her, her without me, right? A couple years ago, we was just having like a little girls' night. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but we was having like a little girls' night, and it was me, her, and her two cousins. Now, my homegirl got these two cousins. I believe that they from New York, or just one of them is from New York, but yeah, she got family from New York or whatever. And her other cousin was cool. Like, she was cool as a fan. But this other cousin, she was cool when she wanted to be, but one thing I will say is, and this message is to anybody, if you from Baltimore, don't go to New York popping your shit too much, because that's their element. And then if you from New York, do not come to Baltimore acting like, you know what I'm saying, like you, like, and regardless of where I go at or whatever, it's just a time and a place. And like, some things you cannot take with you everywhere. Like, New Yorkers, they're very aggressive. But here, we aggressive, but in our own way as well. And, like, it's a time and a place. And if I'm not coming at you aggressively, do not come at me aggressively. Do not be in my face. Do not, like, it's different. I would tell this girl all the time, like, girl, this is Baltimore. Like, this is not New York. What you're accustomed to, and, you know, all that, y'all people bumping each other and shit like that. Like, we don't do that. Like, that's not really our vibe for real. Like, it's not. And that's okay. So we was all having a girls' night, and like I said, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but we was having a little girls' night, and we was playing Risha Roulette. I brought Risha Roulette over there. And actually, I might need to blame Carisha ass too, because Carisha, bitch, because of you, I don't have my friend no more, because we was drinking and shit like that. But honestly, I don't blame it on the liquor, bitch, because I was barely even up there. And even if I was up, it probably was best that I wasn't up there, because I don't know how the fuck I get when I'm drunk. Like, I never fought a bitch drunk, so it might be best to get your ass be sober. We all chilling at my homegirl house, and we drinking and stuff like that, and then we start having like a disagreement. Me and her other cousin. I'll call her other cousin just New York. That's what we'll just call her. So me and New York having a disagreement or whatever. And one thing about New York is she talk real loud. And I'm 5'2", and New York is like 5'10", 5'11", 5'9". But she had on platforms as well, so she a tall girl. So New York is all in my face, ya ra ra ra, ba ba grwn. Just like, girl, you need to back the fuck up out my face. Like, you need to back up. And then my homegirl, she's getting emotional or whatever, and I'm telling her, like, yeah, you need to get your cousin, because I'm gonna beat the shit out your cousin if your cousin don't get the fuck out my motherfucking face. And one thing you guys should know about me is, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm not one of them bitches that be pop, bop, bop. Once I'm on that, I'm on that. Like, you can't calm me down, nothing. So again, I'm trying to tell her to get out of my face. And then again, she's towering over me, but it's no excuse for what I'm about to do when I do it. So my homegirl, like, y'all just need to stop. Y'all just need to stop. I'm like, girl, you need to get your motherfucking cousin, because she's not stopping, and I'm not stopping either, because I'm not no bitch. And I done gave this girl multiple chances, because I'm not the only friend that has ever complained about this cousin. And you feel me? We all respect her cousin off the strength of her. That's how you know we genuinely loved her. But a lot of people done fell off and shit like that. Honestly, some people just didn't even want to be around the cousin, because the cousin's just too aggressive. And we have no problem with people from New York or nothing like that, but it's a time and a place. If y'all used to all that pushing shit and we not, maybe you should keep your motherfucking hands to yourself. So again, this girl all in my face, da da da, and I'm just like, honestly, I don't even like looking up to no bitch either, so that shit was already getting me there. And then we was drinking a little bit, but it don't take much. Once I'm there, like I said. So me and her cousin go back and forth, and next thing you know, I mush her cousin in the motherfucking face, because, bitch, I told you, back the fuck up. So then my homegirl immediately stands in front of her cousin, and she trying to back her up, and I'm just like, let her out. I got something for that ass. Yo, my homegirl let her cousin out, and I beat the shit out of her cousin in her living room. Do you hear me? Beat the shit out of her cousin in the living room. Blood all on the motherfucking carpet. Mind you, my homegirl has been around when I've beat somebody up before. My homegirl has, like, stood there while I beat somebody up, and then we literally left immediately after that. Like, literally, so you've seen what I've done to somebody, and you thought I wouldn't do it because I let your cousin slide. And then also, I feel like that's why I don't let bitches slide, because you let a bitch slide once and they get to ice skating and shit. And then also, I'm real firm about what the fuck I say. If I tell you to back up, please back the fuck up. So mind you, my homegirl and her other cousin, they are just standing there watching us fight, and I'm just boom, 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 taking this bitch down. Like, then this bitch started tickling me and trying to get me off of her. And I can laugh about this shit because it's been a few years. But yeah, so that was literally the situation. And after that, like, I literally grabbed my wig and shit, grabbed my shit. And I said, girl, you can send me an invoice. I'll pay for your carpet because I know that's going to come out of your security deposit. Like, let me know. I was like, but yeah, like, your cousin literally needs to learn to shut the fuck up. Sorry, y'all. Somebody interrupted my motherfucking story. So, yeah, after I left and everything like that, me and my homegirl just have not talked since. Like, I did reach out probably like 2 months after that. And I was like, hey, I hope you're doing well. Like, again, I'm sorry. And she's like, I hope you're doing good too. And that was literally the end. So then when I found out about her baby shower or whatever, I was like, you know what, bitch? I removed her and I unfollowed her because clearly we not cool because you ain't even invite me to the fucking baby shower, but we still follow each other. I don't be on that. So I was just like, you know what, to protect my peace, because if anybody know me, they know, like, I'm super supportive. Like, if it's something that you decide to do, I got your back. And I always told her, like, if you ever have kids, I won't be your kid's godmother. If I ever have kids, you can be my kid's godmother. But yeah, like, it's no bad bluff towards her or nothing like that. I still love her. I still miss her, all that. But, you know, my next friendship, I don't want to be cool with none of their family. I don't want their family around me or nothing like that, because bruh, just because you somebody's family don't mean you above anything. You are not an exception. But yeah, y'all, I still miss my bitch to this day. And yeah, I just hope she doing good. And yeah, I mean, I beat the shit out of your cousin like I told you I was going to, you know. Now you're not friends with me. You should have cut her off. The fuck?
So I posted a video and everybody kept on asking for the actual footage or story time. So I'm going to tell you guys what happened. Okay, so basically this was at a Trio concert in South Carolina. So me, my best friend, and my little sister, we had a 4.5 hour drive there, and half of that was just spent waiting in line. So whenever we finally got there, obviously we need to use the bathroom. So we go in, we find the porta potty. Line is long as hell. Like, you can't tell which line is which. There's like 5 different ones in the line. It's just a group of people. Like, there's not an individual line. Like, this concert had a terrible setup. Like, it was really bad. Like, I'll put a video, hold on. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna start off by saying there are only a couple people in my life that I do not play about, and 2 of them happen to be with me, and that was my best friend and my little sister. I do not play with me about them. So we got there, we're trying to figure out like where to go for the porta potty, and we end up just kind of like standing wherever we could find room, because there was none. So line's moving, we're moving up, like everybody's just pushing. This one girl starts like giving us dirty looks. And I'm like, okay, bro, like, something is going to happen. Like, I'm already in a bad mood. And then here's my problem. Instead of coming to us directly, she starts telling people around her in a loud enough voice that we could all hear, like, these people just cut in front of the entire line, like, blah, 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 blah. Just keep on repeating it. My best friend and my sister are just avoiding eye contact because, like, we're already, like, there's people behind us, like, there's not a line. She keeps on getting louder and louder, and my best friend looks at her, and she finally says something, and she's like, you guys just cut in line in front of everybody. And my best friend was like, sorry, like we didn't mean to, it wasn't on purpose, like, there just wasn't a line. And I looked at her, and I was like, so do you want to get in front of us? Like, I'm sorry. She goes on to say, like, no, you guys are already there now, like, whatever, and keeps on talking shit. We're at a Trio concert, everybody's drinking, everybody's drunk. People are going to butt in, so you saw who did. Like I said, there's only a couple people that I don't play about, and I was with 2 of the pretty main ones at that point. Old man starts getting in my face, starts like, if he had started off by saying, hey, like, we were here, you guys cut in line, like, can you please, like, move so we can go, or whatever, like, I would have been like, yeah, of course, totally. Bro starts off yelling. He came in fucking hard. He starts going, you guys cut in line, blah, blah, blah. At this point, my best friend leaves. So, whatever. She just doesn't use the bathroom, and she was really the one who needed to go. That leaves me and my sister there, so he starts yelling at us. Mainly me, because I'm mainly the one talking, because I don't want my sister to get involved. He starts pulling the beer bottle in my face, and that's whenever she starts recording, and so did somebody else. So he starts putting it in my face. I still keep my cool, like, I'm still talking to him. I'm like, please step away, like, please back away from me, please get that out of my face. Bro is not, obviously. So what do? I flip. You're not gonna sit there talking to me at a concert that I'm paying to be there for. No. Having your wife back there, like, trying to get you to come back to her, and then everybody else is like, oh, they just cut in line at the porta potties, like, kick them out, kick them out. It's literally a porta potty, bro. Like, I just don't understand why it was that serious. And maybe I'm this way because if it was me, I wouldn't have said anything. Like, if it was 3 girls who obviously didn't mean to cut in line, I would not have said anything, let alone start yelling. I'm very nice. Like, I'm not confrontational at all, but like I said, around my best friend and my little sister, do not do anything. So he keeps on going, whatever. I'm raising my voice, and he starts lowering his, because I've been trying to watch back the video and remember exactly what and really all I can gather is I kept on saying, go piss. If it's that important, go piss, go. And that's whenever he starts looking at me this certain way, and that's, well, whenever I start raising my voice more, that's whenever people start turning around, which, valid. Like I said, I feel like I need to say it again. Obviously, if it was something a bigger deal, I wouldn't have put myself, like, cut in line in the first place. If you're starting to yell at me over a porta potty, obviously I'm not going to go to the back of the line anymore, because literally, what are you doing? You're the oldest person there and you're yelling at, I told him, I was like, you're arguing with an 18-year-old girl right now. And the girl next to him goes like, you're literally 18, shut up. And I'm not 18. I was literally just saying that to get him to back off. Don't you want to ask if you can at least stand in line with them? They're 2 girls my age. I look at them. They look pretty normal. Like, they're normal people that should be at a Trio concert. I look at them and I'm like, is it okay if we stand with you guys? And they're like, of course. They were the other girls filming the video. Literally added them on Snap and been texting them. They said, of course. So that's when I look at him and I'm like, oh, okay, so go. Fucking go. So that's when his wife starts pulling him back more, and he was like, see, okay, like, well, and I was like, and then whenever his wife starts pulling him back, he starts going like, whatever, I was done with her ass anyways, I'm not going to be arguing with a 120-pound-year-old girl. I hear that, what do I start screaming? Oh, so you think I'm skinny? I scream it like 3 different times. And bro's just looking at me, everybody's still looking at me. I don't care, that's a compliment, like, hello, I'm not 120 pounds, but I'll take it. And that's basically it. Really just whenever he started getting the beer bottle in my face is whenever I flipped, because I'm not about to let a man who's not my father talk to me that way, because my father doesn't even talk to me that way. He says, you don't like getting told no, do you? And I was like, not by anybody who's not my parents. Like, you have no authority over me. I'm 20-something years old. You are going to back away from me right now, and you are not going to talk to me like this. Let alone over a porta potty, bro. Like, that's what I can't understand. Like, if it was something serious, sure, talk your shit. It's a porta potty at a Trio concert. You're the oldest person there, and you're yelling at someone who you think is 18, because that's what I told him, over someone in a porta potty line. Nobody's defending you, bruh. Nobody. So what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? Anyways, that was back in like September. After that, we didn't see each other, and then I had the 2 girls, the ones that were filming, I had them like stand outside the porta potty while my sister was in there, because I forgot why I think I had to go find my best friend, so I had them like stand just in case, because I'm not gonna leave her alone after all that just happened. So everybody was fine, nobody got swung on, no security was there, got involved, because it's literally a porta potty. It was escalated because an old man was drunk and tried to start a fight with the wrong person. And yeah. Also, I forgot, my best friend was like, if this turns into anything else, like before she left, she was like, literally just tell them that I have a brain tumor and it's a medical condition, which is true. I wouldn't just pull that shit out. He looks at me and he says something along the lines of, what, do you think you're like better than all these other people? And I said, no, she has a fucking medical condition. She has a brain tumor where she can't hold in her pee. Heads turned. Wait, you didn't think I'd pull that card on you? Because I 100% will. If you want to fight about a porta potty, we can fight about a porta potty. Like, he said, oh, you want to throw a brain tumor in my face now? I said, yeah, just like you threw a beer bottle in mine.
I had non-consensual intimate images posted of me online and go viral, so get ready with me for my first day of online college. I'm really not in a good mood. This is my first semester. I've had no in-person classes, and I'm doing it from home. And I'm one of those people that I just learned way better in a classroom, so I'm like... And it's like, what do I have to look forward to at the end of my school day? Because, like, all my friends are, like, back at college. I'm here by myself. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just do school all day and, like, sit in bed? And then, like, go and, like, read comments about myself that are nasty and, like, read DMs telling me to, like... Or, like, 2 days ago, like, look at a picture of me that was posted where everyone is dragging me and calling me ugly, and then, like, start crying and, like, emergency try to, like, book a Botox appointment to fix my face because I feel so ugly. Like, is that what my life is now? Like, I don't, like, understand, you know? It's just, like... And, like, obviously the whole point of my platform, like, I want people to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and, like, if something like this happens, like, you will feel happy again. Because I didn't think I ever would. But at the same time, like, this actually sucks, dude. Like, I know I seem like I'm just complaining, but it's like when all of my friends are going back to college and having fun and going on with their lives and, like, you know, living, and I'm just, like, stuck at home. Like, and I genuinely don't feel motivated to do, like, basically anything. So, like, where am I supposed to find the motivation to, like, actually lock in and, like, do school? Because it's like, what am I doing it for? Like, what's the point? You guys tell me every day, like, no job is ever going to hire you, blah, 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 whatever. So it's like, and I know everyone's like, oh, stop complaining, you're fine. I've literally been posting drafts for the past, like, few days because, like, if you can't tell, because I don't have roots, like, I've been posting drafts because I literally can't get out of bed to film a TikTok video because I'm depressed. Like, no matter what I post, like, people are gonna be commenting, like, memes, and, like, the one where the guy's like, that one, over and over and over and over and over again, or the one with the baby, like, whatever that one is, like, over and over again. I just can't, like, I can't do it, guys. Like, please, dear God, stop. Everyone's bullying me about my lashes, so we're gonna do mascara, I guess. But yeah, actually, every single person that, like, said horrible things about the way I look, like, I'm so freaking over it. Like, somebody, like, took a picture of me, with me, posted it. You guys screenshot it off TikTok, put it on Twitter, and, like, start just spamming, like, those horrific things about my body and my face and this and that. Like, just calling me ugly and, like, the most horrible ways you could call somebody ugly. Like, I can't do it. Like, I am so insecure. I literally hate myself. I hate the way I look. Like, that's not a new thing, but, like, you guys, like, are really, 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 really messing with me. I look dumb without lashes. I look stupid. Is this how I actually... Guys, there's no way you're telling me this looks better than when I have lashes on. Anyway, sorry for complaining. I'm just having a bad day. Love you, bye.
Let me tell you how I caught my husband cheating. Not just a moment. It's been a whole freaking season. Still going on. It's still going on. It's still fresh. I just kind of cope with humor, I guess. I don't know. Backstory. We get engaged in May of 2025. In September, he goes to jail. October, he goes to rehab. Straight from jail to rehab. I took him. He gets out of rehab. He completes it. Everything's perfect. We eventually elope. We get married. 2 weeks later, we have a trip to Disney with our kids as a family planned on my dime, since I was the only one working because he was in jail and rehab. But this trip that we were supposed to go to as a family turned into just me and my kids because probation said with his past he can't go. Whatever, it's fine. He saved me money and stayed home with my dogs in my house, used my car because this is all stuff I had before I met him. He's home, going to his work every day. He's a car salesman at a local dealership in Lakewood, New York. He's a pretty decent salesman there. Car after car after car. He's usually coming in second place for sales. While he's working, while me and our children are at Disney, he still has time to audition as America's top cheater. The night before, he's supposed to pick me and the kids up from our flight home. The night before, I get a phone call from him saying that my car was totaled. He hit a deer. He tells me what road he's on where he hit the deer. But then he made the mistake of sending me a picture of my totaled car with a porch in the background. Just there's a porch because he's in someone's driveway. All I know is my gut is telling me that porch ain't lying to you. So what does any calm, emotionally stable woman do? I start Googling. I Google the road that he was on, and I looked at every single house address on that road, and I found the matching porch. Guess what? Happened to be his ex-girlfriend's mom's house. In my car. Mind you, he told me he was delivering a title for work with the dealership. Anyways, just wasn't adding up. My gut kept telling me it's not true. Whatever. I did my job, okay? But it gets worse. It gets worse. After my car's towed away, and I'm in Disney, and he's home, my Alexas and the cameras are unplugged. This is like 9:30 at night. They get unplugged. And then I get a random text message from him at 4 o'clock in the morning. So the morning that I'm supposed to be picked up from the airport, he's just so happens to be awake at 4 a.m. So unlike him, especially on sleeping meds. So unlike him. I just played off. I already knew whose house he was at with my car. I already knew he was at the ex-girlfriend's mom's house. So I just play it off. For a whole week, I continue to be wifey. I continue to be mom. I go to work. I'm home acting like everything is normal. And yes, he did pick me up from the airport, but he used his mom's car, so whatever. He acted like everything was normal. Throughout the week, I'm paying attention to him, his behavior, his cell phone like his texts, how often he's picking up his phone, all of it, because he was at his ex-girlfriend's mom's house. Then the ex-girlfriend's mom makes some remarks on Facebook on his posts, and I didn't need any. I don't need any validation there, but whatever. My intuition was right. I watch him text a coworker, two female coworkers, nonstop, back to back. I noticed text messages being deleted. I noticed they're no longer in his favorites after he pinned them to his favorites in the text messages. I noticed that it's gone, then it's back, and then it's gone. If it's about work, it's there. Yes, I went through his phone a couple times. All the work messages were there, but then the 2 days later, the work messages would be gone. Didn't add up, okay? His text message threads, they're disappearing like he's in the witness protection program at this point. This is a week and a half after I got home. I've been quiet. I've been silent this whole time, okay? It's like a crime scene on a Netflix documentary. He just doesn't know it yet. And either do the women, the mistresses. He finally forgets to delete some messages. And he's a little tipsy. I'm not drinking. I didn't drink at the time. So I wait till he passes out. I get on his phone. I see some messages. I don't do anything with them. I take a picture of them from his phone on my phone. So then they're still there. So he can see that I haven't done anything with them. Didn't send them to myself, nothing. But I have them on my phone. I also marked them as unread. So when he woke up, he still saw their notifications that they were sent. Okay? Then he's on TikTok with me next to him. And he hands me his phone and he wants to show me a TikTok. But he accidentally hits the at button. The at button on TikTok will bring up who you've been messaging first. So the at button, he hits it and that girl's name, Willow Raider, pops up. Mind you, he's sworn up and down he doesn't have these women on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. He doesn't text them over and over and over again. So she pops up as the first at. And I just look at him and he makes eye contact with me and he knows. So he blocks her in front of me on TikTok. I don't say anything. Well, some of my friends and I were talking, and I showed him these girls, and we've been doing our investigation. One of my friends calls the dealership. We have proof of one having an emotional affair, We suspect the other woman and him had sexual affair. So we just started asking questions from the dealership about the one with the emotional affair. Well, they both had boyfriends at the time. I don't know if they still do. Both girls had boyfriends at the time. She gets wind of it. The one with the emotional affair gets wind of it, spazzes out, and then reaches out to me. She denied everything. Mind you, I have on my phone the pictures of him and her conversation. We're gonna name her M. Okay. M denies everything, but is best friends with, we're gonna call the other one, well, I already said her name, Willow, because I don't care, because everything was true. I have proof. Willow. She sent screenshots of my husband having the affair with Willow, sexual affair with Willow. But M denies everything, despite me not having proof of their emotional affair. They both have boyfriends, sure, okay, I get it. It's a defense mechanism to throw your best friend under the bus because... So now I have screenshots between Willow and my husband and Willow and M, and then some screenshots that makes her look good between M and my husband. I got it all. I have all the confession of him having a sexual affair with Willow, and on my phone I have him and M's emotional affair via text message. They all work at the same dealership. This is when their jobs start disappearing. Stay tuned for part 2. It gets juicy.
Let's talk about why I had to call off my engagement with my fiance of almost 5 years. For starters, cheater, pumpkin eater. If you can pick up on what I'm putting down. All this started back in September. And I'm so sorry, but I'm like horrible at sit-down videos or like talking videos, period, if you know what I'm saying. But, so, everything was good. Like, it's so crazy because we were having no problems whatsoever. And he actually was the best man in his best friend's wedding, and you'll see why later in this story I do air quotations. But his best friend, let's call him George, and then he was marrying Shayla, George and Shayla. Okay. I personally didn't like George just from some stuff from high school and just the kind of person he is. Now, him and my fiance actually stopped being friends for a while because of some stuff that he did and that my fiance didn't agree with. Shayla had a problem with me from the get-go, and I don't know why when I did nothing to Shayla. So, that's neither here nor there. We would go to dinner with them, and I would sit here and try to have a conversation with Shayla, and I'm a pretty easy person to talk to. I can be a little shy sometimes, but I mean, if I'm trying to have a conversation with you, at least speak back. It was like I was talking to a brick wall, but she'd turn around and have a full-blown conversation with my fiance. Okay, cool. Okay, so she'd sit there and have a full-blown conversation. That's fine, whatever. Well, fast forward. It's the wedding day, okay? And, you know, my fiance's there, and mind you, my ex-fiance was very shy. Like, he wouldn't order his own food. He wouldn't make his own appointments. When we booked our wedding venue, I literally asked him to take the check to the venue manager. Mind you, he had met her. He literally had a full-blown crash out on the phone with me just to do that. So he's a very shy person. Let's just put that out there. Well, it's the day of the wedding. I'm a guest. I ended up not feeling good at the wedding. So, like, I had got on the dance floor a few times, right? And then it was probably, I'd say, like 10:30. And I told my fiance, like, I'm going to go sit in the car. You take your time. Don't feel rushed. You do you. Because he was drinking and I was driving us home. But I don't feel good. So I told Shayla and George, like, congrats. We're so happy for you. And I went and sat in the car. I was sitting in my car, and where I was sitting, this was my car and this was the venue. So I could see everything. Literally everything. Well, the maid of honor, I kept seeing her get, like, close, all near him, and, like, you could just tell she was flirting with him, if that makes sense. So I was very bothered by it, but again, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, get out of this car and act crazy like I wanted to at someone's wedding, But I was like, I will mention it to him when he gets in the car. That's literally ended up calling my cousin, which me and her are like best friends, right? So I call her and she's like, well, you know, he wouldn't do anything. He's so shy. And I was like, yeah, that's what I think. Well, there are a few times like everybody kind of went off where I couldn't see them. Okay, cool, whatever. My ex-fiance now gets in my car and it was probably like 12 a.m. We had a 30-minute drive home. And the whole ride, like, I was upset and like I was voicing that to him and he's like, no, like, I understand. And, you know, all that stuff. Well, like, the next day he was acting a little weird. So, actually, this is the day before my birthday. So, their wedding was the 20th, the 21st, and then my birthday, September 22nd. So, the next day, he had said something to me about us, like, me and him hanging out with Jordan and Shayla. And I'm like, that's fine. If my schedule allows, I'm also a photographer, so I'm busy. And I'm not going to, like, shift anything around to hang out with them. But also, I voiced to him, like, it's one thing to hang out with people that actually conversate back to you or act like they don't have a problem with you. But I'm not going to sit at a table with people that make me feel unwelcome. And that's what that is. So, anyway, you know, that day we kind of argued a little bit, and I remember at dinner that night, I said something about the girl flirting with him, the maid of honor flirting with him at the wedding. And he made it a very big point. He said, who am I here with right now? I was like, me. He said, okay. Like, okay, so I let it go. Like, I was done. I let it out, go, like, completely out my mind. Okay, so fast forward to the next day, September 22nd. That's my birthday. He decorates it for my birthday. Like, him and my cousin, like, she got a banner done, and he decorated and put all my presents out. Like, it was very thoughtful. And I will never, ever forget what one of the birthday cards he got me read. And it was this whole card, and I was turning 21, and we were supposed to get married in April of this year, so April 2026. He said, this is the age that we will get married. Okay, cool. Well, that whole week he acts funny. Fast forward to that Friday, we go to my birthday dinner at Texas Roadhouse with his parents and his family. Then we always go back and do cake at their house. He was acting very weird. He was acting weird all week, but especially at dinner, he wasn't himself. And I thought maybe he just didn't feel good. Well, when we got home, like, we were getting ready for bed, and usually when I go to bed, he goes to bed. Like, we don't have to go to sleep, but, like, if I'm gonna go lay in the bed, if we were in the living room, I go lay in the bed, he's coming right behind me. That's just what we did. Like, it was just who we were. Like, neither of us, I mean, he may stay up later in the bed, but, he said, I'm gonna stay up and play the game. He don't play the game. Like, he will sometimes, and I was just like, it was kind of late, and I was just looking at him, I said, okay. And then I walked back there, and he ended up following me. Well, that night, he stayed up later than me, like, in the bed. But the next day, that Saturday, I actually had a session to go to. Like I said, I'm a photographer. So I was driving to the session, and I had his email on my phone. And I only had his email on my phone because we had a house together, and when we were doing all the documents, the job that he had at the time, he couldn't always get on his phone and sign away, and some of it was like urgent stuff that had to be signed. So he knew his email was on my phone. Like, it just was. I mean, heck, I made his appointments for him. Like, I did all these things for him, so it really wasn't an issue. Well, TikTok sometimes will send you an email to your email if somebody sent you a message and you hadn't seen it or viewed it, I assume. Don't worry. It said, let's just call her maid of honor. It said, the maid of honor sent you a message. And I was like, I had to pull over, and I logged into his TikTok because all his account logins are the exact same. I log in. They had been sending, like, ushy-mushy, like, relationship TikToks to each other. And I was sitting there like, I didn't even cry because I was so upset. I was just mad, and I really didn't even feel like this was real life. Mind you, I'm on the way to a session. He's in Columbia at a game. I think it was a Carolina game maybe, with George and Shayla, and then let's just say Brittany and John. And I called him and he wouldn't answer. And I think he knew what was up because I kept calling him. Like, I don't call if it's not emergent because I can text whatever it is. So, go to the next part though. Okay, so I think we ended where I was calling him. So I was on the side of the road calling this man, and he's declining my call. Decline. Okay, that's cool and all. So at that point, I was like on a 10. He's around his friends. Well, finally, like, I'm blowing him up. I'm like, call me back, like, because I'm not about to text all this, but I'm sure enough gonna just bring it to your attention, like, over a phone call rather than texting it. And I was gonna wait till that night, but I could not. I'm a very impatient person, so well, finally he calls me back. Hey, you good? No, baby, I'm not good because you've been sending these TikToks to the maid of honor. Like, what? So I say something to him. I'm like, I'm trying not to be on a 10. And I'm like, you know, your email's on my phone. And, you know, I see the TikTok. I logged into your TikToks. And why have you been sending TikToks back and forth to the maid of honor? I would say her name. He's like, well, I meant to send them to you. Okay, just because both of our names start with a K? No. And I was sitting there and I was like, okay, first off, you didn't have her on social media because you didn't know her before the wedding, but now you do have her on social media, so lie again. Let's try a new lie. Something that makes a little bit more sense. So, I can't even remember. That day is such a blur. Like, I can't even remember what was really said after that. Just, I told him that we would talk about this when he got home. Well, I went to the session. I have never in my life worked so fast during a session. I was literally like, I was like, my heart was in my stomach, but I didn't feel upset where I would cry. I just felt sick. I just felt so sick. It's a feeling I never want to feel again. So I finished the session. I go home. You know, I stay up for a long time waiting on this man to get home because let me tell you guys, we had a house together. We had 2 dogs together. We had a vehicle together. We were practically married, even though we were not married. So he gets home. He comes bebopping in, slow as a grandma, probably about 3 a.m. I was watching him on Life 360 the entire time. And when he finally got to whose house he had parked at, like, he just took as long as he could to come back home. He gets home and we talk about it. Okay, mind you, I'm sitting here like crying, and like he just is like looking at me like, there's no nothing. I mean, he teared up like a little, but there is just no emotion. And I was just sitting there like, okay. Well, we talked about it, and like I told him, like, you know, like, I know there are things in our relationship I do wrong. I am not perfect by any means whatsoever, but this, I'm sorry, I don't deserve this. And I promise you, like, I'm the kind of person, like, we were together for so long and we went through so much together and kind of grew up together in a sense where it was like we mess with each other, but it was one of our love languages. Like, I wasn't a very touchy-feely person. He was, but, like, we would literally, like, just joke around with each other. I don't know, like, maybe rage bait. I don't know. Well, that's just who we were. And, you know, he kind of communicated to me, like, he felt like some things that I was lacking on, and that's fine. Like, I can sit here right now and tell you everything that I did on my part, but no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter how he ever made me feel, I never thought about stepping out on him. So to do that is disgusting. Well, I told him, I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. If you want us to work, no, if this happens again, we are, like, there's no more. Like, I'm willing to work on this with you right now, but if you do it again, I will not, and I will be leaving. Okay, so we're very clear on that. So I said, do you want to message her and tell her you're taking her off of social media, or are you just going to do it? I'm just going to do it. Okay, so I sat there and I watched him do it. He took her off. Okay, great, block, deleted. Okay, bye-bye. And I said, and you can take Ayla off of social media too, because let me tell you something. Shayla and the maid of honor, best friends. So you can't convince me that she didn't know what was going on. So I said, first off, it's weird to have your best friend's wife on in Snapchat and you two snap each other. I'm sorry, that's weird. I don't care. That's weird. I don't usually care like about girls snapping boys or like stuff like that, but that's just weird. Especially after this whole situation. No. Bye-bye, Shayla. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, next day we go to church, because that was a Saturday. Sunday, we go to church. Hadn't been to church in a few weeks. The sermon was literally about essentially how you treat your wife and how you treat your partner. And I will say God did grab him by the neck in church, because he was in there boohoo crying, and he swore to me he'd never do it again, and this, that, the third. That same day, we had family pictures scheduled. Well, I didn't really want to take them anymore, but his mom and dad were like, no, let's take them, it's fine, because they knew that their son was a cheater, pumpkin eater, because I told them. Do I care? No. And I mean, they were very upset because that's not him, or it wasn't him. Well, we still take the family photos. Cool. Great. After the family photos, we go home, and I actually had my little sister with me, and, you know, she's getting ready for bed and stuff, and he's sitting on the rocking chairs outside saying that he just needs a minute by himself. I said, okay, that's fine. Well, I end up going back out there, and I'm trying to get him to talk to me, and he's like, what if I can never get her out my mind? What if this isn't a little fling? You're infatuated with her because you just met her and she was giving you the attention that I was not giving you, because, I'm sorry, but I work 2 jobs. Like I said, I knew what I needed to work on, and I was willing to work on that, and I voiced that to him. But it wasn't just me that had to work on stuff, it was him as well. So I was like, in that moment, deep down, I knew it wasn't going to work with him, and I had a feeling it would happen again, but I tried to just push it down and pretend like it's going to be fine. Well, I was like, we need to do premarital counseling, which we needed to do it anyway. We certainly should do it now. And I made him promise me, like, we were going to be okay. We would work through this on both ends, and that I would walk down the aisle to him in April. You know, he's pinky promising, he's swearing, all these things. Men ain't crap. Well, that week, he came to my work and ate lunch with me on my lunch break, and I was driving 30 minutes from our house every day to eat dinner with him and bring him dinner. Okay, cool. So I'm doing that, right? And I'm thinking it's going good. So, mind you, when I found out he cheated on me, I did not eat for 2 weeks. Which, it's just my nervous system was like, screwed. Well, one of the days in particularly, I was like, you know, the whole time me and him are conversating, I feel like he's not really sorry. Like, he's not meaning what he's saying. Like, I'm sitting here trying to pull this out of him, and it's like he just doesn't care to share. And I'm like, okay. And I told him, like, if this is going to work, you have to communicate with me, and you have to be open, and you have to be honest. And that's how our relationship has always been. So why you feel like you shouldn't do that now, I don't know. That day in particularly, I remember my cousin was staying with us. She was actually going to move in with us at the end of October. I told her, I came home, I said, I am pretty sure everything is going to be just fine between us. I ate a whole sub sandwich, a 6-inch. Well, little did I know, I got ready for bed. You know, I'm texting him like, good night, like, have a good night at work. I'll see you when you get home, because he worked second shift. He worked second shift and got off at 2 a.m. He was always home by 2:30, if not sooner, and in bed at 2:30. Okay? It was not very often that he worked late. Well, I'm getting in bed. I had an iPad, he had an iPad. Something in my soul told me to get on his iPad and go through his notes, like the notes on your phone. So, because it's synced up. So I get on there, I go, okay, this is, mind you, a week after the wedding he was in. It said, because your notes tells you when something was edited, it said, last edited today. His best man speech. And I was like, why was his best man speech edited today when we're a week out? Like, we're a week after the wedding. Now, I mean, sometimes I add stuff to my notes, and I was like, maybe that's what it was. So I'm scrolling. All the way at the bottom is a username and password for Instagram. Oh, don't worry. Guess whose it was? Guess. If you guess Shayla, you're right. Yeah, it was his best friend's wife's Instagram login. Okay, so I'm like, man, okay then. Cool. So, I mean, I take it upon myself. It's on his stuff. So I log in to her Instagram. And I get into the, and this does sound crazy, I know. I get into the messages, or the message part on Instagram, and I see where he had been on there messaging the maid of honor on her Instagram. And I was scrolling, trying to go like read the top, and all I remember seeing is like an address from her, red hearts, like this, that, the third. Well, then they realized I got in the Instagram and they logged me out and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine. Like, I don't need to know exactly what it says. What I seen said enough. Like, you're not just, I'm sorry, but I'm not logging into my best friend's Instagram to text some man red hearts that I'm not going to have anything to do with at the end of the day. That's just not how that works. Well, I texted Shayla, and I told her, I said, I already knew the answer, and I was like, hey, like, is messaging the maid of honor, like, and she said, woman to woman, I know the answer. Did you log into my Instagram? I said, woman to woman, yeah, I did. Well, I didn't give you permission to. Then you shouldn't have gave him your Instagram username and login and let him write it down knowing somebody could get into it. I'm sorry, that's on your part. She said some stuff, I said some stuff, she blocked me. I'm like, okay, because you nasty. You nasty. Well, I said something to my fiance, like, at this point, I'm messaging my fiance, like, message, and he said, she just wanted to know why she got blocked. I'm sorry? She wanted to know why an almost married man blocked her, whom she added on Snapchat, with the intention of doing what she's doing right now. I'm sorry, but you cannot convince me. She seen me at the wedding. She seen me and him together. I'm sorry, did you think I was his sister? The sister he kissed? The sister he rubbed up on? Girl, bye. Okay, so I'm like, okay, that's a lie. Like, why lie? At this point, you're just digging yourself deeper. Like, and now looking back on it, I know he was doing all that to try to get me to leave, but at that moment, I felt like if I left, I was losing everything because we had so much together, and all I could think about was the negative. Well, I remember my cousin was there. She was dead asleep. I woke her up out her sleep, and I told her, I don't know what we have to do, but I cannot stay here no more. Like, there is no way. Like, me and him, this ain't gonna work. And she was like, you know, she woke up, and she just couldn't believe it. So I made her promise me, like, you know, like I said, I was pretty sure it was done. I was still willing to kind of work on it with him, but I, for the most part, was done. And me and her just said, like, you know, we'll get a place together. It's fine. She said, don't even worry about that. Like, I got you. You got me. We good. Well, I texted him, and, you know, he told me, he said, I just want to be happy. Because he told me that he hadn't been happy. And when I proceeded to ask him how long he hadn't been happy for, a few weeks. Oh, so you hadn't been happy for a few weeks, so you just go decide you want to whatever with whoever. I was like, okay, cool. So there was a time that I didn't like you at all. I didn't find you attractive. Like, really, you being around me, I couldn't stand. But I knew I wanted to be with you, and I prayed to God every single night to bring the spark back, like, allow me to love him the way he needs to be loved. And I did. And I not ever once thought about texting another man. Never. So, okay. Well, he ends up coming home late he comes home that night, and I'm like, he gets in, he sits at the kitchen table. It's like 4 a.m. And I had texted my office manager at 12, because I already knew it was going to be a long night. And I told her, I can't come in just due to personal reasons. Well, he gets in there, and he's sitting in the chair. I'm sitting on the floor, like I am right now, begging this man to want me and to love me. And he really ain't have much to say, just that he wants to be happy, and he don't have an answer for me right now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we've been together 4.5 years, almost 5 years, and this just ain't making much sense to me. Like, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, all these things. Like, of course I'm sitting here blaming myself. Well, he's like, I'm just going to have to talk to my counselor tomorrow. And I guess he thought he was being funny, and this wasn't a hee hee ha ha situation. And I was like, who? He said, my mom. I said, baby, your mommy, she can't fix everything for you, because when I say he is a titty baby, he is a titty baby. But she can't. She can't tell you what to do and how you feel. And I gave him multiple opportunities. I said, do I need to walk away right now? Because I will walk away. No, I don't know what I want. No. I said, do you want to walk away? Like, no. Okay. So then he said that he was going to sleep on the couch, and I slept in the bed. I didn't sleep. That was a Wednesday, because I went to work. I had to be at work at 7, so I woke up at 6. So I was up from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. actually the next day. He goes and talks to his mom, okay, and then he comes home, and he sits me down for a conversation. The previous part was him. We ended at, he sits me down for a conversation. He walks in the door, and he tells me, this isn't what you want to hear, but he proceeds to tell me how we need to take a break just from, like, sleeping in the same bed and messaging each other, just a break. And that he needs to find happiness within himself, because he knows I can give him 100% and I can make him happy, but it's not fair if he can't make me happy. Okay, and in the moment, I'm sitting here like, yeah, like, that makes so much sense. And I said, are you finding happiness within yourself or within someone else? Like, do you want to message other people? Do you want to see other people? Like, I'm trying to figure out what kind of break we're on. And he said, no, I can't message other people. That's not finding happiness within myself. I said, okay, cool. Well, then, like, we sat there, we had a conversation. I mean, I cried and cried. Well, he has to leave for work. Or we're staying in the kitchen, I'm telling him bye or whatever, and, you know, like, I'm just, like, I'm floored. Like, I don't even, how I felt, like I said, I would never want to feel that again. He sat there, he kissed my forehead, and he kissed my lips, and he promised me that I was who he wanted to be with. Okay. So, that night, that was a Thursday. So I ended up going to bed at 6 p.m. So I was, or 7. I was up from 7 a.m. on Wednesday and didn't go to sleep until 7 p.m. on Thursday. I was so, like, out of it. I literally had his iPad and I logged into his Snapchat and I was on it, you know, and, like, I kept it, like, near me because I was, like, so petrified he'd be texting other girls. That Thursday, because I was already off of work on Friday because we're supposed to do premarital counseling. He ended up getting home at 4 a.m. Mind you, he never gets home that late. So I was like, So it came into the bedroom to grab some clothes, and I asked him, I said, do you mind showing me your Snapchat just so I know you're not talking to other females? He didn't say nothing. He walked out. He went to the bathroom. I gave him a good head start. I walked in there. He showed me that. He said, well, I did add Shayla back on Snapchat. And he said, but I do know that if me and you continue, that I have to take Shayla and George off. I said, okay, as long as you know, because I'm sorry, you have two nasty friends. They're your best friends. No best friend would encourage this behavior. Okay. Well, okay. I went back into my room, went to sleep. That morning I woke up at like 6 because I just I could sleep, but I couldn't sleep like I would typically sleep. I get on his Snapchat and snap in the maid of honor. So I was going through and looking, and I opened one of them, and I'll put it here because I still have screenshots on what it said. That's what she said. So I said, okay, I don't know what he's telling her and what she thinks, but it looks like he's playing both sides. So I didn't let him know that I knew about that. Like, I kind of went about my day and did my own stuff, and he ended up coming home, and I can't remember what I said to him, but I said something very smart, and he was just kind of looking at me, just like basically letting him know I knew what he was doing.
How do you untell something? You can't. You can't put words back in your mouth.
All right, y'all, so this is part 5, the final part. Now, let's get into it. First, I just wanted to say thank everybody so much for all the kind words or the females that have reached out, because one thing I will say is in that time in life, I felt so alone. I wasn't alone. I had my closest family, my closest friends, everybody supporting me, but there is no worse feeling than feeling like your world is coming crashing down and there's nothing at all that you can do. Like, nothing. So with that being said, I also had some questions about my makeup and like my foundation, or I've had some people say like it's so pretty, and I do thank you guys. I actually used the e.l.f. Halo Glow foundation, and I'll link it right here for y'all. Now, you know, I'm telling him like this is done, like we are done, and he kind of agreed like, yeah, like, you know. And I said, all you had to do was say that you wanted to be done. And I told him, like, there's no more. Well, I was like, we need to either sell the house or you need to refinance. And he was like, okay. Like, he was supposed to work on that part because he said he wanted to refinance. He was very concerned about me, though, and asking me what I was going to do. And he just assumed that. He said, I thought you were going to keep the house. I don't want the house. I don't want the house that we bought together with the intent of this being our starter home and raising our family here, possibly. No, I don't want this house because when I look at these 4 walls, I see you. So I said, you can either refinance or we can sell. He decides he wants to refinance. Cool. I had to work on trading my brand new Traverse in for the car that I have now. Ended up trading it in at the dealership, no problem. The only problem was I had bought my Traverse in June, and I could have refinanced, but it made the most sense to just get another car because my Traverse was huge. It was 3 rows, like gas. It just made sense. So I bought a car. Well, if you know anything about trading a car in, you know that when you trade your previous car in, they don't pay it off like that. They don't. It takes time. And he kept asking me, like, for, I guess, the document showing that the car was paid off, so it could help his debt to income ratio. And I told him, like, you know, they said that it'll come in the mail, whatever it is that you need. And he was like bugging me every day about it, and he couldn't wrap his mind around it. And he's like every day, have they paid? Have they paid? Have they paid? No, baby, they haven't. They said it would come in the mail, and I told him he could wait. Well, I got tired of him begging every day and just bugging. So I got what he needed, and I told him, I'll leave it at the house for you, and you can take a picture or whatever you need to do. And he's like, well, can't you just scan it and send it to me? No, I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you do anything when you made my life a living hell. So he told me I was making everything more difficult than I had to and all that fun stuff. And I was just like, yeah, okay. Okay, so in the midst of all of this, like, he's trying to figure out the refinance. He's asking me for our previous broker that we used, his phone number. And I told him, I said, I have it. But I said, look it up on Google. Like, he's asking me for all these things. Like, you can do this all by yourself now, honey. Like, this is on you. You dug this hole, now you're going to sit in it. Let me backtrack a little bit, because I did want to say that the night that he got home at 4 a.m., he did confirm to me that the maid of honor did come to his job when he got off, and they sat there and spent quality time together until 4. Now, if you ask her, she's going to, or I guess 3:30 or whatever, she came. And she's going to tell you he's not a cheater and that he never cheated on me. Okay, if he's not a cheater, then why are you at the job site? Like, why didn't you just go to his house if he's not a cheater? So anyway, so then it's like you're sitting here and you're saying all these things, and it's like, okay, so like he was literally playing you and he was playing me. If he's not a cheater and he told you that, like, me and him were done when we weren't. So he played you. Sorry, I moved because the lighting, it kept getting in my eye. Well, I just had to put that out there because I just feel like that's very comical. In the middle of him doing the refinance of the house, I told him that anything that I bought would be coming with me when I moved. So that was the furniture, because I bought the furniture when we moved in. I had also told him, because we had some debt together for the house, that I would pay the debt off. And when I really sat down and thought about it, I said, you know what? I'm not paying the debt off for a house that I'm not going to be occupying anymore. So I told him, like, he could pay it off because he'd be there using that debt. And I also told him that he could pay off our GM credit card that we had from our Traverse, because all of my money went to the wedding. So the amount of money I spent on the wedding didn't even compare to those things. And he proceeded to tell me, like, that was fine, like, he was going to get the money. Spoiler, his mom gave him the money. But, which, whatever, maybe he paid her back, I don't know. Probably not. So he was like, he ends up telling me, like, it's getting down to him. He's supposed to pay the card off. He's like, I can't pay the card off because his mom wouldn't give him the money, because he said at the end of the day, that car was half yours and half mine. I said, okay. I said, the wedding that was going to be your wedding too was half mine and it was half yours. So are you going to pay me everything you owe me for the wedding? It was crickets. Crickets. He had nothing to say. And it was in that moment I realized, like, he wasn't going to pay the full card off. And I was only an authorized user on the card. So I am very much tit for tat. And once you push me past my limit, like, that's it. Well, I took myself off as an authorized user, and I let him know, like, you know, I was only an authorized user and I'm no longer an authorized user, so this is for you to figure out. Also, I got a call because when everything was happening, some of my friends messaged the maid on her just because to tell her how nasty she was. And I messaged her myself as well. And not once did she ever tell me, like, leave me alone, stop, this, that, the third. She didn't block me for a long time. I get a call from the county that we lived in saying that there was, like, a harassment report that was filed. Like, there was nothing against me, but, like, it was the start of when I guess she went up there and talked to them about it. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But that's, like, what I told the officer. I was like, okay, well, like, I mean, this is the story, like, this is what happened, like, I mean, she was messing with a basically married man, and he said, yeah, see, there's two sides to every story. Well, one day I'm at work, okay, and I get a notification on the Ring camera that my ex-fiance is home. He had backed his truck in, and then Shayla and the maid of honor are in Shayla's car there too. Okay, rule number one that we had was, you do not bring no female to this house, especially the one that you cheated on me with, and I don't bring no male to the house. Like, that was the rule. So I called my aunt because I just felt like, you know, something icky was going on. Well, I called my aunt, and she calls my uncle because he actually had a shop not too far from my old house. He gets there, and like I said previously, everything I bought or even was gifted to me by my uncle was coming with me. Well, he gets there, he pulls up, he gets out his truck, and my ex-fiance is loading my stuff into his truck. And my uncle just looked at him and he goes, oh, don't worry, I'll take it all down. And my uncle said, don't worry, Blank County's on the way now. So the cops end up coming. So I have to leave work, and I have to go to my house, and I have to deal with all of that. And I'm so sorry this isn't the final part, but the next part should be the final part.
Get ready.
Okay, guys, this is the final part. I had already recorded it, but as soon as I posted it, like, it disappeared. Like, it's not in my drafts, it's not in my private, like, it's nowhere to be found. So, I'm so sorry. I tried posting it, like, an hour and a half ago. Well, I think where we left off was the cops got to my house. So my cousin ends up getting there because, like I had said, she lived there. I got there, and then eventually my aunt came. Well, as soon as we get there, the cop is like, do not touch this girl. Like, do not touch her. And the cop that was at my house was the same cop that I spoke to on the phone about the harassment report. And I said to him, like, how can somebody file a harassment report, but yet she's at my house? Make it make sense. It doesn't. I'm sorry, but if somebody's harassing me, I'm not going to her house. I'm not. If it's that deep and that serious, no. So, anyway, needless to say, like, we go inside, and mind you, my ex-fiance, like, I was like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to get my stuff. I said, it's one thing to get your stuff, but you're also taking my stuff. No, I'm not. Okay, so my uncle's a liar. Okay, cool. Well, after that, he's like getting all his stuff. Well, Shayla and the maid of honor, they're locked in the back bedroom, and they didn't have nothing to say when they finally came out. And I mean, we were speaking to them, and it was crickets. Well, my ex-fiance ends up calling his mom and dad. And as soon as they got there, he acted like he was hot as H-I-T walking through the house. And me and my cousin are just sitting there laughing. Because at the end of the day, like, he was literally doing the absolute most. All you had to do was say, like, hey, I'm going to come get my stuff. Or better yet, like, why are you packing your stuff to take it to wherever you're staying when you're about to move back? Like, you're about to live here by yourself, or with her rather, but you're going to live here. Like, why? If we wanted to mess with your stuff, we would have already done it. Nobody touched his stuff. So it was just absurd. He was so down bad, he took the air fryer. I guess he thought that was just really going to do something. Well, after that, like, he's getting everything ready for, like, the refinance on the house. And he goes, like, this is the refinance date. Can you take off of work to come? Not for you, not to help you. I'm not, and I won't. I'm sorry. I said, so either they can email me the documents or I will be there Friday after work. But of course, him, I just made everything difficult. No, I'm not doing all of this stuff to help you after everything you've done. It's just been so uncalled for this entire time. So after I signed for the refinance of the house, I finished getting all of my stuff and we moved. We have our own house and I'm not tied to him in any kind of way anymore, which is very refreshing. But I will say last year was one of the hardest years of my life, and there were times that I didn't think I could keep going. I couldn't see myself getting a new house. I couldn't see myself getting a new car. Like, I just felt trapped. And I know I was not trapped, but I felt trapped. I learned so much. I learned to lean on God, to trust his timing while none of it makes sense. And I was so angry and so bitter. I genuinely learned that I have to listen to God and listen to what he is telling me. I'm not doing this whole story time because I'm bitter. I'm doing it because I'm tired of sitting in it, and I'm tired of whatever he is saying about me, because I know some people are kind of wondering like what his parents were thinking and that whole thing. His parents, you would have thought that I cheated on him. Like, that's how they were acting. Mind you, I knew them for like 5 years. So to sit there and treat me that way, like nobody checked on me one time. I'm not saying we don't have to still talk, we don't have to communicate, but in the middle of everything, before it got ugly, you could have asked me if I was okay, anything. You know, we took family photos when I didn't want to take family photos. My cousin took the photos, I was to edit them. I was never paid for these photos, okay, because we're a family. Well, I didn't hear a peep from anybody. One day, his sister texted me before I'm even awake. It's like 7 a.m., maybe 6, I don't know. And she asked if I've gotten around to editing the photos. And I told her, like, I'm sorry, but this is very rude. Like, you haven't texted me one time to check on me, but yet you want to see about the photos. That's just no. Well, she said, like, she apologized. She said she just felt like it was her getting in the middle of it. If she asked how I was doing, she was texting him, asking him how he was doing. It's not getting in the middle of anything whatsoever. Like, it's just as simple, are you okay? Needless to say, I never sent them their photos. Sorry. And they were some of the best photos I took, like, or that were taken of all of them. Like, they were good photos, I'm not gonna lie. Well, you know, he ended up blocking me on almost all social media. I will say that the maid of honor, she likes to do like nasty little reposts, like saying that I'm a crazy ex and, you know, all that fun jazz. And I believe one of them said something along the lines of, she'll show, or she wishes his crazy ex would say something to her, something along those lines, because she'll show her crazy, like insinuating like she'll show me crazy. And like in the little comment, she said, please do. We're waiting. We're all sitting here waiting, because when you had the chance to do something or say something, you didn't. Okay? And you know what's so crazy? That when all of this was going on, all of my friends were backing me. I mean, I had my friends sending her messages. They weren't out of pocket messages, just, you know, saying, like, you're nasty, essentially. I haven't heard a peep from anybody. None of her friends are in the comments on my videos. Like, during any of this, like, nobody has anything to say because they all know it was so disgustingly wrong. Like, as a woman, how do you still a married man, basically married man, and how do you move right into his house with him? Because they lived together in her old house. They did. So how do you, like, not, like, feel, like, disgusted or, like, out of place? Because, baby, let me tell you something. Those gold cabinet pulls, I picked. That sink, I picked. That faucet, I picked. Everything in that bathroom, in the hallway, I picked. Like, that was all me. So, you're living in my world, essentially. If you want to be me, just say that. But at the end of the day, it's all done, it's all over, and I really do not wish this on anybody. Like, I do not wish this hurt or pain on anybody, except them. Like, that's it. But that is pretty much it. I mean, that sums up our story. So, if anybody has any questions, let me know. I mean, I can talk about this for days. I'm sure there are a few things that I left out, but I pretty much covered the basis, like, all the main points. So, yes.